Hey guys, welcome back. This is my part 3 reaction to Netflix's Partner Track, coming from the perspective of a former New York City Big Law associate. And just in case you guys missed parts 1 and 2, I will link them in the description below. And with that, let's dive in.
Ted, your junior year game against the Bulldogs is legendary. 5 goals, 4 assists, 6 caused turnovers.
You play?
As a midfielder. Jerry Hayes was their head coach.
No kidding. Jerry was our assistant coach back in the day.
Jerry's my man. He actually retired a few years ago, but I see him every year at the game.
Well, say hi to him for me, will you?
Will do.
All right. Go Crimson.
Go Crimson.
Right off the bat, this clip hits home more than I would like to admit. And what we're seeing here is sort of a boys' club atmosphere at the law firm and specifically in this client meeting. And it's really tough to avoid that when there's a majority of male associates and, of course, a majority of male partners, and the client on the other end of the table is also a man. So a lot of the dialogue can tend towards sort of male-dominated topics like golf or baseball or poker or hunting or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, as a young associate, I really struggled in these conversations with other associates or partners or clients to really feel like that I really belonged there and I could come up with things to say. And I even played college athletics and I know how to play poker and my dad hunts and all of the things. But still, just being a woman in sort of a male-centric dialogue was really tough to kind of find my footing. And granted, I did go to law school and I did summer associate at a law firm in Texas. So that's a little bit more potentially male-dominated than maybe some of the major metropolitan areas on the East or West Coast that you'll find. But it's not uncommon and it does happen, and it can really take some time to kind of find your footing and know how to interact with male colleagues, especially when you're one of the only women in the room.
So next, what is a MAC clause? A MAC clause is a material adverse change clause. It's a change in circumstance that affects a bargain after the deal is signed, but before it's been closed, something like an embargo, or a new tax law, or a regulatory change.
I wanted to point out this clip because it brought back memories of one of the biggest reasons I ultimately decided that I no longer wanted to practice intellectual property litigation, which is what I was practicing at the law firm that I was at. And what Ingrid is doing in this clip is listening to podcast episodes over different corporate law concepts. And the question is, do people actually do this? And the answer is yes. And the way that I know this is because whenever you're on a case or a deal at a larger law firm, you're generally going to be on a team of anywhere from 3 to 25 lawyers, depending on how big the case or deal is and how many moving parts there are and how many different responsibilities there are to be allocated. And in every single one of these teams, I remember that there would be associates who would send out emails to the team, and it would be with blog articles or industry updates or a judicial opinion in another patent litigation case or an argument that a law firm used that worked or didn't work. And I remember at the time that I would just completely ignore them because I was already underwater and just trying to keep my head above water with all of the work that I had assigned to me. I definitely didn't have the luxury of time, I felt, to then go and research other cases that were unrelated to the one I was working on. And it took a few years for this to sort of click, but it finally made me realize that, wait a second, these associates that are on these teams with me are really into technology and really into industry updates, and they're looking up this stuff in their free time and in their off hours, and that's when they're sending these emails. And it made me realize that they're really nerding out over this stuff and they're really into it. And at that same time, the light bulb moment that I had was, I want to work in a type of law that I also want to nerd out over, that I'm so into and so excited about, that I want to be into the community and aware of what was going on and look at the different trends and not just what I was working on, but what the industry was doing as a whole. And that's when I definitely realized that IP litigation was not the thing that I naturally nerded out over and that I needed to make a change.
I want all the Phase 1 and Phase 2 reports. The full set, not abridged. The IP agreements and the lease and wall docs too. Why aren't you writing this down?
a few thoughts on this one. So in this scene, Ingrid is assigning her paralegal, Justin, to pull some different documents to review in this deal. And in a larger law firm, these paralegals, especially the senior paralegals, are the ones who are running these cases and deals. They are the ones that are logistically in charge, meaning they know where the documents are and they know the timeline of when things are supposed to be happening, and they're keeping everyone organized and on track. And so you would never see an associate assign a paralegal a task like that, maybe in a junior paralegal situation, but even then, something like this is much more common to be assigned to a legal secretary. So when you're at a larger law firm, you will be assigned a legal secretary to work with. And usually the legal secretary will have about 2 to 3 to 4 associates, and then usually one partner that they work for. And so what's really important to understand is that yes, even though the legal secretary is a resource for you as an associate, their number one priority will always be the partner's work first. And I've seen associates misuse the services of a legal secretary by demanding things like formatting or printing or sort of turnaround filings without really understanding and getting a sense for what the legal secretary has been asked to do by the partner first. So just keep that in mind, that even though you may have a legal secretary as a resource for you, or even a junior paralegal that's a resource for you, you should be incredibly respectful of their time and always make sure to check what projects they have going from the partners and the senior associates before they turn to any task that you need help with.
Sorry, Marty, didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to drop off the executed NDA, and sorry I missed...
Lassiter is moving tomorrow up to 9 a.m. Is that going to be a problem?
No, no problem.
You around later if I need you?
Yes, I'll be here all night.
Good.
Anytime, Marty.
I'll be around all night. One of the most common expressions you will probably hear yourself saying as a young associate. And that's because as a junior lawyer, you're expected to be available. You're expected to be at the firm if they need you to be, or at least be available at home on your laptop to check emails or answer any calls that come through. And what's really crazy is that this can be for a legitimate reason, in the sense that you have a deadline due the next day. So I remember staying up till 2, 3 a.m. drafting briefs that needed to be filed the next day. It could be because a client got back to you with comments or feedback really late, sort of 6, 7 p.m. at night, and now you have to go and incorporate all of the things that they've asked. It can also be because of fake deadlines that partners set. So in this scene, you see Ingrid turning around the non-disclosure agreement that she worked on all day, giving it to Marty. He said that he wanted it, and he doesn't even look at it. And so that's also really common as well. And so canceling plans at the last minute is really, really common when you're a junior associate in big law. And it can be really difficult to keep dinner plans during the week or see friends. And so a lot of the time when I was a junior lawyer, either I didn't make plans during the week, or I made them with the expectation that there was a 95% chance that they were going to get canceled.
I'm off the Suncorp deal. Dan won.
Fair player lacrosse.
He's got some finals club buddy who works at the Department of Energy. Suncorp was my ticket to making partner.
I'm sorry, Ang. Maybe next year.
We both know it's up or out here. Like, if I don't make partner, everyone will know I couldn't cut it. I can't just lateral over to some other firm. I'll be like Tara Grotaglia and have to go in-house at some urinary device company. I'll be nobody.
Crying in the bathroom, I remember those days, or crying in your office and closing the door so no one can walk in on you. But what Ingrid is referring to here when she says up or out is this concept that once you're eligible for partner, you either get promoted to partner or you're asked to leave the law firm and you lose your job. And since not everybody can make partner, once you get to that 8th year associate level or that 10th year associate level, there are a lot of people who will be asked to leave. Now, nowadays, it still happens, but there are some non-partnership track options. So this concept or this title of counsel means you would still bill hours like an associate and you would still get a salary like an associate, but there's not going to be an expectation that you ultimately develop client business and bring in new clients to the firm. And so that can be an option. But since up or out is still a policy in play at a lot of big law firms today, it may be the case that in that year leading up to your eligibility for a partnership vote, that there are partners that have conversations with you about how realistic it is that you actually are going to make partner that year, to the effect of you leaving before that partnership vote even actually happens.
Guess who I'm calling?
I do live for this. I'm living for this. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Let's try that. But we must do the pink. We must do a pink. Yes. Oh, I love this. Drama. Audrey Hepburn vibe.
Oh my God.
I love this shopping montage so much, and I feel like I'm spoiling the party by calling it out, but I feel like I need to. And that is that what tends to happen with a lot of junior associates when you start working at a big law firm is you start making a lot more money than you probably ever have before. And so an entry-level big law associate salary right now is $190,000 with about a $15,000 bonus. And so you're starting off making over $200,000, and for a lot of us, that's more money than we've ever seen before. And so there's a tendency to start spending a lot of it, right? And so a lot of people will get really nice apartments and new cars and designer clothes and just really up-leveling their lifestyle in a very expensive way. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating, of course. This is a big deal and a really exciting job, and you've worked really hard for it. But the best thing that you can do for yourself when you start working, whether it's at a big law firm or anywhere else, is getting really clear about your numbers. And that includes student loan debt and how much you want to pay off, and also just sort of your monthly budget and how much you need to live. Because what can happen, and what does tend to happen, especially at big law firms, is this concept known as the golden handcuffs. And what that means is that you have elevated your lifestyle to such a level that you now need a multiple six-figure salary to bankroll that lifestyle. And so even when you want to walk away from this job and you feel exhausted and burnt out and it's no longer bringing you joy, you don't feel like you can, because you can't quote unquote afford it, because now you have all of these payments that you were making on a monthly basis. And so the best thing you can do for yourself is to get really clear on your numbers and what it would look like to live a life that doesn't chain you to a job you don't want to be a part of. And so if you want to see a little bit more of a deeper dive into the golden handcuffs and kind of what that looked like, I did a whole video on that here and you can check it out. But yeah, it's really common to kind of fall into this trap of feeling like you can't afford to leave because of the monthly budget that you have now created for yourself at a much higher level. Those are my part 3 takeaways. I hope they gave you guys some insight into what a big law associate experience can really look like and feel like and be like. And if this video or partner track in general has inspired you to want to go to law school and become a lawyer, then definitely check out the Free Law School Network Facebook group. It is filled with pre-law students and law students going through that journey in real time. And so you can reach out to them, connect with them, and get a perspective from people with boots on the ground. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.